vegan pantry staples, all from Amazon. I'm Ashlyn, time for a breather. Let's get in the video. All right, we are gonna start out with a twofer. We have both the True Lemon and Lime water enhancers. These are essentially just like little packets of just dehydrated lemon and lime. There is no additional sugar substitutes, no sugar in it, no additional weird flavors in it. It is literally so natural that you'll actually get pulp when you rehydrate it. I use both of these in one of two ways. The first way is just as its intended use, a water enhancer. I'll just put it in a glass of water. It dissolves so quickly, sans the pulpy bits. But let me tell you, it is powerful. It is like puckering, but in like the best way, like a refreshing kind of pucker that like only citrus can give you. The other way I use it is when I'm cooking, if I don't have lemon juice or lime juice on hand, especially lime juice. I'm just not that type of household. I have a lot of lemon juice on hand at all times, but not lime juice. So whenever I'm doing like Mexicali dishes or something, just sprinkle that in lieu of lime juice. It does work very well as a replacement. In both of the types I get from Amazon, it comes in 100 count packs. Even the box it comes in opens up into like a little dispenser, which is a very nice touch. But especially if you're someone who maybe you don't like carbonated beverages, but you don't like the taste of water, this is the product for you. I do know they also have an orange one, and I think maybe even like a lemon lime one, but I haven't tested those two at all. But just the regular lemon and lime do me so good, especially on like a hot day where I'm not in like a sugary lemonade mood, but I want that like kick and refreshment of a lemon. Just stir a little packet into some water and you are good to go. Up next, I have Anthony's Premium Pea Protein Powder. This is just straight pea protein. There's no weird preservatives, no stabilizers, no flavorings in it. It is just pea protein, and the best that I have found in like a bulk pricing from Amazon. I do like Anthony's brand for like a lot of vegan pantry staples. The pure pea protein I actually mix with my other protein powder, which I'll go over here in a minute, just to like kind of like cut it down a bit because I don't like the artificial sweetness of a lot of pre-made protein powders. Even if you're someone who maybe just wants to like get a little bit of extra protein in your diet, pea protein on the whole doesn't have like the most amount of taste. So especially if you just want to like sprinkle a little into your oatmeal, into your smoothies, anything like that. Again, there's nothing but pea protein in here, and you do get a pretty good size for the price. Speaking of protein powder, the Orgain Organic Vegan Protein Powder, specifically in like the chocolatey fudge flavor, has been my go-to vegan protein powder of all time. It does have a slight bit more carb in it as opposed to a lot of other vegan proteins, but for the price of these, you really cannot beat it. Now that being said, like I said previously, I do cut this half and half with just pure pea protein powder. Again, because I'm not someone who likes super sweet things, but just to let you know, a lot of sweetness in this is coming from, I believe, stevia. It's not actually sugar, so it's not like super added sugar heavy or anything, which is something I really look for in my protein powders. This one on its own, if you just want to mix this with some like almond milk, even I've tried it with water and it was fine, just the overwhelming amount of flavor in it, like the actual chocolatiness of it, actually turned into more of like a milkshake, like that kind of sweetness and texture. It is really nice, and I absolutely put this in my oats, my overnight oats, and it mixes in just fine. It does take like a little bit of while. I have to use like a little tiny whisk to get it in because of course it is protein powder. It doesn't really stir that well. However, I have put this in just like a little bit in the bottom of my cup when I'm making espresso, just to give like a little bit of chocolatiness, a little bit of sweetness in there. It is just beautiful. Up next, we have the Simply Protein vegan protein bars. These come in a few different flavors. The dark chocolate almond ones specifically, I think would be have the most general appeal amongst people. It's not like an overwhelming amount of taste in any direction. It's just like a pleasant taste. And then for the added sugar per protein you're getting, per calorie you're getting, it is just one of the best, most affordable vegan protein bars I have found. It is more in the line of like your Rice crispy treat-esque type of protein bar. It's not very dense at all, and it is very crunchy. So overall, for the texture, for the amount of protein you're getting, and for the price, it is definitely my top pick. And up next, speaking of sweeter, chocolatier things, we have the Lenny and Larry's Complete Crunchy Cookie. These are essentially the size of Famous Amos, but they're like very, very hard. And in fact, they're a little bit harder because they're denser than even like a general crunchy cookie. However, I like that mostly because it causes me to slow down. I remember back in the day, I could just inhale Famous Amos cookies because yeah, they were a crunchy, dry cookie, but they were so incredibly light. It was easy to eat a lot of them in a very short amount of time. These ones you kind of got to work on. It's not like break your tooth hard or anything. It's just a crunchy, dense cookie. I have had the chocolate chip ones as well as the double chocolate ones here. However, the double chocolate are by far the best. The base is chocolatey as well as the little chips they put in it is also chocolatey. So if you're someone who, you know, you get your afternoon sweet tooth, especially right after lunch, and you don't want to intake like the most amount of calories, the most amount of added sugar especially, these are definitely for you. Up next, we have the Blue Diamond Almonds, the dark cocoa dusted ones in particular. Can you tell I like chocolate? Actually, I don't really like chocolate in the sense of like a candy bar, like an actual piece of chocolate, but like chocolate in things, whether it's, you know, a protein powder, a protein bar, a cake, a cookie, a chocolate croissant, like that type of business, but not actual chocolate. Now, these almonds are the perfect amount of chocolate, especially like in the midday, mostly because they are literally dusted with cocoa powder. It's not dipped in chocolate. So it doesn't seem as indulgent. It's definitely not as rich. It doesn't come with the most overwhelming amount of sugar in it either, because I am very particular about that, mostly for my teeth though, honestly. And of course, since they're roasted almonds, you're getting that nice crunch in there. So the texture, the taste, and this box comes with 32. And for the price, especially since they're in 100-calorie packs, which is also very nice, just it being pre-portioned out for that price, it is very much worth it. I believe this is pronounced pure organic stevia blend. I don't know if that is P-Y-U-R-E, like how else would you pronounce that? Pyre, maybe? This is definitely my favorite brand of actual granulated sugar replacement, especially a lot of your Splendas and other bagged dry sugar replacements are very, very light in texture. And if you're baking with that, that can mess up your recipe outright, because not only is it going to lead to a lighter texture of the final product, but also it seems like a lot of that stuff absorbs more liquid, so you kind of end up with a drier product on the end. However, this one, if you're actually like feeling it in your hand, absolutely feels like actual sugar. I'm not really sure what science accounts for that, but I love it. But I also have baked with it, and I have seen no difference between this and regular sugar, sans it's like just like a 5% hint drier than regular sugar. But honestly, when I'm saving the added sugar, like I'll take the 5% more dryness, like no big deal. Speaking of baking, again, I have the Energy vegan egg replacement. This egg replacer has been around forever. It is truly one of the OG products of the vegan community. This one specifically is for baking. I have baked many things over the years with this egg replacement and have seen no difference. Only thing you need to watch out for is the amount of liquid your recipe would call for, because obviously like even a single egg has a decent amount of actual water and liquid in it. And yeah, this is a powder that you just essentially reconstitute with water and then pour into whatever you're baking. I believe it's like 1.5 teaspoons to 2 tablespoons, and that's like a full egg. And that amount of water is not comparable to an actual egg's worth of liquid. So just keep that in mind. Also, side note, I usually put in a coffee mug, the powder in a coffee mug. I then add the water and take a tiny whisk to it. You do have to let it set for like 10 minutes. Use warm water when you're doing this. Otherwise, it has an issue of like sticking to the cup and everything. So just fair warning on that. But again, overall, the best one I've ever tried. Also, since it is just literally a powder, it's literally a powder of just proteins and like amino acids. That's it. So it does last on your shelf for a very long time. If you love this video, then please show me some love by clicking that subscribe button. Not only does it make sure you get more of the content you enjoy, it does help keep my dream alive. It takes a lot of time and energy in order to bring you a video every single week. So thank you so much for your support. Back to the video. All right, let's switch gears here. Now, everyone knows about your popcorners. If you don't, it's basically like a puffed triangle chip in which it's just made of actual popcorn. I think like sea salt and oil, that's it. Now, these ones specifically I get off of Amazon are in single serve packs, which again, I love because if you are like me, especially like your crunchy, salty snacks, I can overindulge in a heartbeat, right? It takes like 2 seconds for me to just entirely eat a bag of especially potato chips or even like a bag of just popped popcorn. These ones are very nice because they do come in that single serve. So if you're someone who definitely needs a little bit of crunchy salty, especially in your midday, and you don't want to pre-portion anything on your own, you just want to grab a bag, put it in your lunch pail and go and you're done, this one is definitely for you. And speaking of salty, next up we have the Spice Supreme MSG. This is literally just a little canister, well this is a 2-pack of MSG, and especially if you're a vegan, in order to get like that umami flavor in foods, you really have to come to the table with a spice that's meant specifically for that, which is what MSG is, okay? It gives you that meaty type taste that like mushrooms can give you. Why? Because mushrooms have naturally occurring MSG in them, if you didn't know. But I love adding this to literally anything. Anything I'm putting salt on, I'm adding MSG with it, okay? If you are a vegan or vegetarian who is missing that meaty note in all of your vegan replacements, MSG is where you're gonna find it, so make sure to pick you up a 2-pack here. Up next, we have Anthony's TVP, aka Textured Vegetable Protein. These are little granules of essentially just dehydrated soy. That's literally it. It's basically like they just took some soybeans, crushed them up, dried them out into a slab, and then took a hammer and like crushed the slab into like little granules and then put it in a bag. You reconstitute them with honestly any liquid you want. I normally will do either a tomato juice if I'm trying to do like a sloppy joe or like a taco meat type situation. They work wonderful in there, or in chili. I'll make the base chili, just I'll make sure to add more liquid to it, and then I'll put the TVP in it at the end. Only needs about 15 minutes to like absorb into like a warm liquid, and it fully softens. And honestly, as long as you have enough flavor surrounding it, because in and of itself has almost no flavor, I'm gonna be honest. That's not what it's for. It's for texture and for adding protein to things. And especially if you're someone who eats a lot of like minced beef type dishes, this is definitely the vegan replacement for you as far as meat replacements go. It is so easy. It is incredibly shelf stable because it is essentially just a dehydrated bean product. You just microwave some water, get it a little bit warm, dump it into a bowl with TVP, wait 15 minutes, and you have like essentially full ground beef. And up last, guys, we have the Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. This is the low sodium one specifically. The low sodium is very difficult to find in stores, despite the fact that Better Than Bouillon, the brand, they have like, I think 20 different bouillon pastes across the board, but the vegetable low sodium one, I can hardly ever find in store. So I just order it bulk off of Amazon, no big deal. It's very shelf stable. I add this to anything and everything. I especially add it, I'll like boil pasta, drain it, and then stir a little bit of this in it because it has like your umami notes as well as very vegetable notes. But this is a paste. It's not a bouillon cube, just so you're aware. So when you open it, you do then have to refrigerate it. However, it is also very strong. Do not overdo this or you'll start to get that like minerally salt taste. Like if you add too much salt to something, it starts to taste kind of like metallic a little because it's like too minerally. So just watch yourself, but especially for the price per like the amount that you actually need to flavor a dish, it is well worth it. And it is so incredibly versatile. It makes everything taste just a little bit more like savory, a little bit deeper of a taste with very minimal effort. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. If you want to see another one of my Amazon shopping videos, just click the picture here and I'll catch you next time. Bye.